esteemed dignitaries, scholars, faculty members, and students gathered here today for this prestigious two-day international conference organized by Abhivekti, the Department of Social Sciences and Humanities, the Prayaga College, University of Delhi. Now, I would like to invite our council members to felicitate our chairperson, Professor Rana Purushottam Kumar Singh sir, with a token of respect.
As we proceed further, it is my honor to
As we
introduce
proceed
the chair
further, it is
of the
my honor
session,
to introduce
Professor
the
Rana
chair
Purushottam
of
Kumar
the
Singh
session,
sir.
Professor Rana
He started
Purushottam
his
Kumar Singh sir.
academic career
Sir
as
has
an
started his
assistant professor
academic
in the
career
Department
as an
of
assistant
Buddhist
professor in the
Studies,
Department of
University of Delhi.
Buddhist
After
Studies,
completing
University of
MPhil
Delhi.
and
After
PhD in the
completing
same
MPhil and
department and
PhD
from
in
the
the
same
same
university.
department and from the same
Currently, he is the
university.
Dean
Currently,
Faculty
he
of
is the Dean
Buddhist
Faculty
Studies
of
and the
Buddhist
head of the
Studies and
Department
the
of
head of the Department of
Former dean and former aide.
Sorry, sir, my apology.
Sorry, sir, my apology.
Yeah.
Sir has done
Sir has
field work
done
at different
fieldwork at
archaeological
different
sites
archaeological
in
sites
Thailand,
in
Cambodia,
Thailand,
Vietnam,
Cambodia,
Philippines,
Vietnam, Philippines,
Pakistan, Malaysia,
Pakistan,
Sri
Malaysia,
Lanka,
Sri
China,
Lanka,
etc.
China,
in
etc.
search of
In
tangible
search
as
of
well
tangible
as
as well
intangible
as
Buddhist
intangible
heritage.
Buddhist heritage.
Next, we
Next,
have with us
we have with
our
us
first
our first
presenter,
presenter,
Yin Chen
Yin
Shi,
Chen Shi,
second
second
presenter,
presenter,
Aman Mokhtar,
Aman Mokhtar,
third
third
presenter,
presenter,
Susaita,
Susaita,
fourth
fourth
presenter,
presenter,
Samvit
Sandesh
Sharma,
Sharma,
fifth
fifth
presenter,
presenter,
Injina
Injina
Himani,
Himani,
sixth
sixth
presenter,
presenter,
Bhumika Singh,
Bhumika Singh,
seventh
seventh
presenter,
presenter,
Rohit Singh,
Rohit Singh,
eighth
eighth
presenter,
presenter,
Shamsul
Shamsul
Malama.
Malama.
Now I would
Now I
like to
would like to
call
call
Professor
Professor Rana
Purushottam Kumar
Purushottam
Singh
Kumar Singh
sir
sir
to come
to
upon
come
the
upon the
stage.
stage.
So speak.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon, sir.
I am
Namaste.
here. It's a
Good afternoon, sir.
very hilarious moment for me that my students from Taiwan, from Myanmar, and from India, they are connected online on this August occasion. And first of all, I would request Yan Cheng Shi, my student from Taiwan. Yan Cheng Shi is expert of primary sources uh, of Buddhism in Chinese language. Basically, he is from Taiwan and working as PhD scholar in the Department of Buddhist Studies, Navnalanda Mahavihar. And he is very well-known scholar of Sukhavati Vyuh and the other sects of Buddhism in China. And he has translated many texts into English. So now I request Bhante Yen Cheng Shi to just start his presentation. Bhante, you have to finish your presentation within 8 minutes.
Oh, 8 minutes. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So now I start to present my seminar. Namaste, everyone. Good afternoon, professors, scholars, and all friends. It's truly an honor to be here today. The topic of my presentation is the educational spirit of Buddha Badara. His biographical and translational contributions at the Mount Lu in 5th century China. My name, like Professor Lana mentioned, my monk's name is Yan Zhenshi. In Chinese means Shi Shakyamuni, Shi Yanzhen. And today I would like to explore how Master Buddha Badara's life and work helped shape the foundations of Buddhist education and monastic learning in ancient China. His legacy continues to offer profound insights for our modern world. Here's what we will cover today. Firstly, introduction, the historic background of Buddhism spread to China, and Buddha Badara's life, his general challenges and achievements, his translational contributions, the impact of his text, and fourth, the spirit of Buddhist education, how he integrates practice and study. Fifth, legs and modern relevance, how we can apply these teachings today. By the end of this presentation, I hope we can reflect on how Buddha Badara's visions can continue to inspire Buddhist education in our time, in modern time. Please see these pictures, these images. Here are 3 historic images that illustrate the Mount Lu monastic community from over 1,200 years ago. It's starting from the 4th to 5th century. Mount Lu became a significant center where monks from India, Central Asia, and China gathered to study and practice together. This environment encouraged deep discussion, cultural exchange, and meditative training. During Buddha Badara's time, Mount Lu lacked this image. High mountain, clear river, and natural environment. It was home to many influential figures such as famous masters like Hui Yuan, Ba Xian, Bao Yun, Dao Sen, and Indian master Sangadeva, Buddhayashas. So many different countries, Buddhist monk and meditator, scholar, cooperation made this place a beacon of Buddhist education. We know Buddhism did not spread to China all at once. It was a long journey. Before Nalanda Mahavihala became a major center of Buddhist study, early Indian monks and translators brought the Dharma to China. Their translations, teachings, and institutions efforts helped establish monastic education. And Buddha Badara played a crucial role in this process by blending Indian and Chinese Buddhist traditions. His clear and skillful approach made Buddhism more accessible to Chinese practitioners. Today, we also face the challenge of applying traditional Buddhist teachings to modern life. Buddha Badara's example and his story can inspire us how to find the right balance. This picture is Buddha Badara, his stupa in China, Mount Lu, near Long River, Yangtze. Let's look more closely at Buddha Badara's law. We know Buddhism spread from India to China. Many monks traveled along the Silk Road to bring the teachings eastward, and the role of early translators. These scholars and monks helped adapt Buddhist philosophy to new cultural contexts. Buddhabhadara's special contribution, his work was not just about translation, but about building bridges between traditions. His teachings remind us that Buddhist education must always adapt while staying true to its core values. Now, I should describe Buddhabhadara. He was born in 359 CE, 359 CE in Kapilavastu, modern Nepal, and the same region as the Buddha. He was from the Shakya camp and lost his parents at a young age. Despite this, he became a good practitioner, experienced deeply samadhi, and become a great master. Someone say he's Arahant. And now we should mention this page. Buddhabhadara translated 15 major texts, including Avatasanga Sutta, which deeply influenced Huayan, Chan Buddhism, and Pure Land Buddhism, and the Mahasanghika Vinaya, which helped shape Chinese monastic discipline. And another one in my new translation is his short translation, the Sutta of Practice and Vows with the Bodhisattva Manjusri, which emphasized faith, purification of the mind, compassion for all sentient beings and living beings. And this Sutta, this translation continues to guide Buddhist practice until today. We know Buddhabhadara's approach to Buddhist education focused on three essential qualities: this moral discipline, sila, and educational conduct as the foundation, meditation, samadhi, and wisdom prajna. At Manglu, Buddhabhadara's teaching combined meditation, study, and community living, creating holistic Buddhist education system. His discipline, Huayan Sutta, and his disciples said he is saint, and his deeply philosophy is systematic. This is the true spirit of Buddhabhadara's education. I write some discussion in the fully paper, nearby 32 pages. And this image is Buddhabhadara sitting in Manglu, Asian China. We're sharing this beautiful passage from Sutta of Practice and Vows with Bodhisattva Manjusri. Like this, may all sentient beings and living beings in the 10 directions be free from suffering and distress. Understanding the profound truth, may they always dwell in peace and joy. Finally, we will mention the concentration. And here, we can set Buddhabhadara's translation legacy and education legacy is fully inspire us to learn the complete Buddhist philosophy and call to real action. Finally, I thanks for my supervisor. He guided me Theravada and Pali Sutta. So I mentioned this final sentence: Kalana, Taman, Savana, Etan, Magalan, Uttaman. And blessing everyone listening to the Dharma at the right time is the highest blessing. Thank you everyone again, and I look forward to listening your comments and questions. Thank you all. Thank you, Professor.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes.
अब बोल लेना लक्ष्य ये नहीं लक्ष्य ठीक है यहाँ से था आवाज ऑन कर सर की बंद हो गई शायद से
Now, okay. The second speaker is Aman Kamal. Aman, introduce yourself first and introduce your topic, title of the paper, and then reading within 8 minutes. Yes.
ठीक है लक्ष्य ठीक है
Good afternoon, everyone. Namo Buddhaya. My name is Aman Tamang. I am basically from Darjeeling, and currently I am pursuing my PhD from the Department of Tibetan Studies, Navnalanda Mahavihar. And I would like to, first of all, thank to Department of Social Science and Humanities, Deen Dayal Upadhyay College, for organizing such a great event. And secondly, I am thankful to Professor Rana Purushottam sir for giving me this opportunity to present myself in this conference. Well, my topic is related to a New Year festival, which is quite very much prevalent in the Himalayan regions of Darjeeling, Kalimpong, Assam, Ladakh, Sikkim. And my topic is on Losar festival. It's basically a New Year festival. When we talk about Losar festival, it is we have to go back to the etymological background of the Losar. Well, for that we have to understand that Losar is made up of it is composed of two different words, Lo and Sar. Lo denotes to year, age, and sometimes it is represented also by animal sign, and Sar, which is represented by new or fresh. As it is widely accepted that during earlier times, people had no idea about astrology. All they knew about was astronomy and the arrival of different seasons and the particular and their particular event on that particular time. All the things related to agriculture were done during that time. Later this astronomy developed into astrology. The historians have to say that this particular astronomy where people used to keep the moon, the stars, and the sun as the time calculating device back in those days. And later on, this practice only developed into the astrological system. Uh, and to be much precise, that modern astrology and the formation of different festivals are nothing but the peripheral part of ancient agricultural events. Uh, uh, there are many types of losar. Particularly, it was assumed that the losar was only the Tibetan festivals. But when we look back into our Indian subcontinent, then we will be amazed to see that the same type of festival, the agricultural festival, used to be carried on from the pre-Buddhist time. Like there was a bone tradition in the Himalayan belt, and the people used to do their agricultural chores on their time and used to worship on the particular event when the harvest was collected, and they used to worship the local gods and deities and used to represent the crops and the fruits, and they used to thank the gods for blessing them with the food and prosperity. And later on, this same tradition has developed into the New Year festival after its amalgamation with the astrology. Now we have to understand that how this astrology was developed into particularly in the Tibetan context. In the Tibetan, when we look about the Tibetan context, the astrology is nothing but a combination of Chinese and the Indian astrology. When we talk about the five element theory, deeply influenced by the Chinese, we call the Tibetan call it Naxi, and and the and the the technical part was taken out from the Kala Chakra tradition, from the Indian astrological system. So this is how the Tibetan astrology came into force, and how this astrological system got into Tibet. It was basically during the cultural exchange between China and Tibet during its peak during the Tang dynasty. This was possible when Princess Wangchen and Princess Brikuti from Nepal, they were like in a matrimonial relationship with Songchen Gompo. That time it was this all this astrological and the mathematical thing got into Tibet, and the cultural exchange between India and Tibet and China took its zenith position on the Tang dynasty. But on the context of astrology, historians have to say that Losar is a pre-Buddhist festival. In the Buddhist period, pre-Buddhist period, people used to follow as I said, that Bon religion, where they used to worship the nature and its forces and worshipped. Particularly in Tibet, when we see how they celebrated the Losar festival, was they used to please the local gods and spirit for their protection and for well-being, which later on became a part of their culture. The celebration of the Losar, on the other hand, is similar to that of harvest festival of Baisakh, which is celebrated by all the Hindus in Indian subcontinent. So when we look about the festivals, it is quite much similar to intellect with the harvest seasons, and this is how the astrological system and the calendar system which we see is all based on this seasonal changes, and and this same particular festival adopted with the particular region uh, within this, like in Darjeeling, Sikkim, we celebrate the Sonam Losar, which is almost similar to this Tibetan Galbo Losar. Basically, Sonam means it's a purified. On a purified day, we celebrate this Sonam Losar, and similarly, it is also celebrated in parts of Sikkim. It is also celebrated in parts of Ladakh, in Darjeeling and Kalimpong, and parts of Assam also. And how this Losar got into astrological system is, as I said, the Indian and the Chinese astrological, they got into the contribution of Indian and the Chinese. There are contribution of astrological system, and uh, when we talk about the Tibetan astrology, there are 12 different animal signs and elements of five element theory that is there in the Losar festival, and and this marks the beginning of a new year also within the Himalayan region people. And on this day, they go to and the monasteries, and they offer their sincere prayer and gratitude towards God and for the well-being and for the protection of the people. So this is all I have to say about the Losar festival. Thank you, sir.
Yes. So now we have Susait. I think Susait is not here. Is not connected today. And the next speaker is Sandesh Sharma. Sandesh Sharma, are you connected? Yes, you are connected. Are you listening me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes,
please
sir.
introduce yourself and introduce your
Okay.
topic and then just present your paper.
Is visible? Sir, my screen is visible to all of respected participants and professors. Okay. I hope so. My screen is visible to all of participants. Yes. Okay. Take it. Yatra Yogeshwari Santi. Yatra Gyan Prakashanam. Sakram Punyadanam. Moksham Cha Nirantaram. Which means where great yogi resides, where knowledge is illuminated, that Mahakumbh remains eternal and the source of virtue and the liberation. A very good afternoon to one and all. Myself, Samdeep Sharma. I am a PhD scholar at Department of Humanities and Social Science, JIT Noida, Sector 62, India. The topic for my today's presentation is the economic implications of Prayagraj Mahakumbh 2025, focusing on the impact of tourism, employment, and local business growth. Moving with my presentation, the Prayagraj Mahakumbh 2025 has become a driver of economic change in the Uttar Pradesh. In the pre-2016, or I can say in 2016 or the 2014 era, the Uttar Pradesh, the most populous, and surprisingly, it is the only state in our country which is having most number of districts, that is 75 as per now. And earlier, the Uttar Pradesh is coined as a Bimaru Rajya, a Rajya of Kundaraj, but now the Uttar Pradesh has become Uttam Pradesh of our nation, and it is the second largest economy in our country in terms of the GDP. With the Prayagraj Mahakumbh 2025, it has become a driver of economic change, and an estimation of 150 million pilgrims taking a holy dip in the Mahasangam over these 45 days. This mega event has boosted the tourism, employment, as well as tourism, employment, and the local businesses growth with a massive infrastructure projects, including the road expansion, bridge construction, railways, and improving the supply chain over the district. Moving to the next slide, the objectives of my study were focusing on to analyze the visitors' spending patterns, accommodation demand, transportation services in order to evaluate the direct and indirect contribution to the economy. The second objective of my study analysis is based on to assess the temporary and permanent job creation across the various sectors such as hospitality, transport, retail, with a focus on opportunity for the local residents. In a follow-up, the third objective of my study was to examine the infrastructure upgrades, market expansion, and lasting economic benefits for the local businesses and the Prayagraj beyond the event. Coming to the methodology part of my study, I have focusing on the mixed method approach, taking the secondary researches such as the government records, surveys, as well as the data which was timely shared by the UP Tourism Department of the government of Uttar Pradesh. Focusing on the primary data collection also, that is taking the 500 businesses as a random sample and 1,000 visitors, or I can say the tourists, or I can say they were the devotees, and 300 workers who are working in the Prayagraj region. and also taking the qualitative interviews of the various respondents such as hotel owners, transport drivers, and the local officials who were managing this mega event of 2025. With the implication of the data analysis such as the SPSS, and in order to evaluate the economic impact of this mega event, moving to the data collection timeline, December 2024 was a planning period since this conference came later on, but I was also focusing on this since my topic of PhD is the religious tourism, so it inclined towards my PhD topic also to focus the socio-economic impact of religious tourism in Bharat. So it inclines. So that's why I have a brief background of my study, what I have to do for my this topic. And January 2025 was the survey period, and the Feb 2025 was basically the data analysis part. The economic impact breakdown can be illustrated as follows. That is the pre-event investment in terms of infrastructure, transport sector, and hospitality. During event revenue that is generated in terms of tourism, MSMEs, and the digital economy. Then the post-event legacy, that is business growth, real estate boom, and moving with the challenges and solutions in terms of the policy measures as well as in terms of the sustainability. Now, this is the secondary data analysis, which I have noted down. Like we can all read it out. So I will not just waste my all the precious valuable time of all the dignitaries as well as the chairperson. So all of them can read it out. I just bring out to the major part, that is the major analysis, which is that 2500 CR was invested by the UP Tourism Department, and expected employment that has been generated was 6,50,000 thousands in various industries. 2,000 new small enterprises has been registered in Prayagraj districts, and moving ahead with the local MSMEs, it has been a notable increase. The major fund has been allocated in the transportation sector. 12,000 CR have been invested for various railway projects. Furthermore, earlier the Prayagraj was having the capacity to handle 50 flights only, but now the investment has been made, stimulus investment has been made in order to cater 300 flights on the daily basis. Furthermore, the 300% increase has been recorded in the e-transactions during this period. And the real estate in the Prayagraj district has noted down a 25% increase in the property values, which is a significant increase because of this mega event of Mahakumbh. Moving with the next slide, that is the analysis of primary data. As my respondents were 500 business persons, 1,000 visitors, and 300 workers who are working, the tabular presentations clearly illustrates that the average cost of the tourist on the daily basis was 3,200, which can be divided in various segments or the expenditure, that is in terms of accommodation, which constitute 40%, food and beverages 25, local transport 15, and the shopping or taking any souvenir from the Prayagraj, that constitute the 20%. So like in a corporate firms, they constitute their uh, earning before tax and the PBT, profit before tax. So similarly, I have tried to illustrate the major expenses of the visitors. Moving with the next slide, that is the table 2 and table 3, which constitutes the employment categories and the daily wages. The unskilled labor earning on an average of 450 rupees, that is in terms of INR for my international fellow mates, and the semi-skilled laborers earning INR of 650 on daily wages, and the skilled laborers were earning 850 INR on the daily wages. Now moving ahead with the business revenue growth by sectors, like it has been divided in various segments, the food vendors, accommodation, transport, as well as the retail sector. And this is the graphic illustration of major data analysis. Like this is the economic boom for the UP, and constituting the 2 lakh crore INR in terms of the economic impact. 45,000 jobs has been created, 15,000 sanitation workers. This data has been taken from the UP government tourism department, and they have been illustrated in terms of the graphic illustration for the ease of any layman or a common man of any city, of any country. 6,000 boatmen were empowered, 25% boost for the local businesses, 5,500 CR for the pilgrim facilities. The tech governance, the AI, that is the Saha AI Yak chatbot, has been introduced in the 11 languages in order to help the real-time measurements. The green tech solar power, 3 lakh saplings of the in order to promote the sustainability in the region and the district has been inculcated by the UP government as well as by the central government.
Sandesh ji, please just sum up
Next,
your paper, please.
yes, sir. Sir, only last slide is left. The only last slide has been left. Now, in terms of the infrastructure, 7,260 investment has been made that can be illustrated in various segments. And moving ahead with the limitation part of my study, first, the real-time data difficulty. There is a constraint in data collection because it's an ongoing event. When I have started my data collection or the analysis of my this particular research project, secondly, there is a terms of the many figures has been approximately taken. So there are real actual values have to be inculcated for the further studies. And the sampling survey challenge, there can be the response bias. Many tourists and the business persons may over report or underreport their income or their expenditure, what they have actually incurred during their visit. And the price inflation for the basic commodities has been increased over 18%. So inflation is particularly the challenge, and the data collection, the real-time data analysis is basically the limitation of my study. So thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to present my this research in front of all the international fellow mates as well as in terms of chairperson also. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandesh ji. And now I am inviting the next speaker, Injila Himani and Himani.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Uh,
please introduce yourself first and then your topic and start your presentation.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Himani, along with my co-author, Angela Himani. I'm honored to present our research paper, Sacred Crowds, Safe Minds, the Psychological Paradox of Women's Security at Kumbh Mela. Kumbh Mela, one of the largest and most densely populated religious gatherings in the world, presents an intriguing paradox. During the 45 days of Mahakumbh 2025, a staggering 63 crore people took a dip in the sacred confluence of three holy rivers. To put this into perspective, this number is nearly twice the population of the United States and far exceeds the entire population of Brazil, Indonesia, and Russia. Despite the overwhelming crowd, women consistently reported feeling safer and secured here than in everyday urban spaces. This challenges conventional security paradigms and raises an essential question. What psychological and social mechanisms contribute to this heightened sense of security among women? Our study explores how collective spirituality, transient social bonds, and ritualistic order of auspicious confluence of three holy rivers create an implicit security network that transcends formal law enforcement. We examine how shared faith fosters pro-social behavior, enhances communal vigilance, and minimizes perceived threats for women. Our research agenda is to seek or to investigate the psychological and socio-cultural factors influencing women's perceived safety at Kumbh Mela, and to understand how Sanatan Dharmas, collectivism, and synchronized group behaviors contribute to security. Our research seeks to challenge dominant security models by proposing an alternative, faith-driven security dynamic. The theoretical framework of our study draws upon three key theories. First theory is social identity theory by Tajfel and Turner. This theory explains that a shared religious identity fosters pro-social behavior and it strengthens collective belonging. At Kumbh Mela, Women are not just individuals, but part of a spiritual collective, leading to increased social accountability and communal protection. Second theory is moral elevation by Hadith. This explains that witnessing acts of kindness and devotion enhances moral behavior and reinforces group vigilance. The deeply spiritual environment fosters a culture where individuals feel ethically compelled to protect others. The third theory is spatial behavior psychology by Hall. It explains that sacred spaces shape human interactions and create implicit social contracts of respect and protection. The Kumbh Mela's structured rituals and synchronized movements create a psychological framework where individuals prioritize safety and harmony. Now, my co author, Angela Himani, will explain the methodology and present analysis on the key findings.
Our study adopts a qualitative research design to examine how collective spirituality, transient social bonds, and ritualistic order create an implicit security network for women in religious congregations. Our research utilizes a phenomenological approach to capture the lived experiences of women and to show that how sacred spaces foster social trust, communal vigilance, and gendered safety. To ensure a comprehensive and nuanced analysis, a triangulation method is employed in our research, in which we have integrated various qualitative data sources. This approach strengthens the reliability of findings by cross-referencing different data points, minimizing potential biases, and providing a more holistic view of the research question. The convergence of data from semi-structured interviews, focus group discussions, ethnographic observations, survey measures ensured that the conclusions drawn reflect a broad and more credible understanding of women's security in religious congregations. This semi-structured
Himani,
interview.
Himani, can you hear me? Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are audible. Sir, shall I continue with
Yeah,
the
please.
presentation?
Yeah, please sum up your paper now because we are running short of time and we have to
Sure.
conduct. Yeah, please.
Yeah. So
Just
just
your conclusion.
yeah, sure. So the methods that we employed, as we said, were semi-structured interviews, focus group discussions, ethnographic observations, and a longitudinal study. The results showed that the communal vigilance with men and women forming protective behavior and using non-verbal alerts, and women linked arms in crowds and formed instant support groups for distressed individuals, and also the longitudinal data study that we conducted, one in March and one in February, showed a 12% rise in women feeling safe, which was linked to increased informal vigilance, mobile-based safety coordination, and greater security discussions in religious forums. So we can analyze the final conclusions and the findings of the paper by saying that the religious congregations foster an implicit social contract of protection, and gender specific adaptations and informal vigilance mechanisms ensure safety. And lastly, we can say that the spiritual security is contextually bound and temporarily limited, and we feel that this research that we have done offers a rich and nuanced understanding of the psychological mechanisms underlying women's safety experiences, not only in the Kumbh Mela and but in other religious congregations as well, emphasizing the role of collective security, social bounds, and ritualistic order. Thank you.
Lakshya.
Thank you, Himani. Now, our next presenter is Bhumika Singh. Bhumika Singh, are you connected? Bhumika Singh. Bhumika Singh, are you connected? I think she is not here.
Not here, sir.
Oh, okay. So, Rohit Singh. Rohit, please conclude your paper within 6-7 minutes. Rohit.
Thank you, sir.
Rohit,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Am I audible, sir?
are you listening? Please.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes,
you
sir.
are
I'm
audible
listening.
to me.
Okay,
Am
thank
I
you, sir.
audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, start your paper and yeah, finish it within 7 minutes.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Respected chairperson, sir, respected Bharadwaj, sir, dignitaries joined offline, and my fellow paper presenters joined online. A very good afternoon to all of you. I am Rohit Singh, a PhD research scholar in the Department of Buddhist Studies, Nalanda Mahavihar. Sir, the title of my paper is Merit in Monastic Economy in the Context of Pre-Modern Buddhist Festivals of India and China. So the title in itself reveals three important variables of this paper. Merit, the first one is merit, the second one is monastic economy, and the third one is the Buddhist festivals or pre-modern Buddhist festivals, that is historic Buddhist festivals of India and China. Now, this paper aims to identify these three different variables and establish a correlation between them in Indian and Chinese context. The Indian context will be treated as origin later on transported to China. The roots of many Chinese Buddhist festivals, such as Mulian or Ulamban festival, the Lantern festival, the Bathing Buddha ceremony, have Indian roots and serious repercussions on the economic side. So now let us begin with the first variable of this paper, that is merit. So merit or punya in Buddhism is largely associated with the notion of generosity or sacrifice or dan. But it is not only associated with the notion of generosity or dan. Mahayana sutras such as Lotus Sutra even tells us that if someone is even reciting the verses of Lotus Sutra or even listening the verses of Lotus Sutra, he accumulates similar merit, similar sort of merit of doing good karmas. So now let me take you all about the merit in detail. So the notion of merit associated with dana, the Buddhist notion of merit making is associated with the early practices of donation or dan, which leads to the purification of consciousness that prepares the ground for the realization of ultimate truth. For example, the Anasutta mentions Anname Vabhinadanti Ubhaya Deva Manusha Chetasa Tameva Annam Bhajati Asmim Loke Paramhicha Tasma Vinaya Machiram Dajjadanam Malabhibhu Punnani Paralokashmim Patitha Hunti Paninam Iti. In this verse, in this utterance, the Buddha is saying, who in this world do not like food? If an offering is made with a clear and confident mind, that is with the pure intentions to assist someone with food, the gods and the humans both enjoys the meal. By making such a donation, that donor dispels the defilements and even able to accumulate and gain karmic seeds, which are the only support system for oneself in even the another realm. Similar verses comes from Dan Sutta of Itivitak, like Annache Datva Bahuno, Dakhinesu, Dakhinam, Itochuta, Manusata, Saggam, Gachanti, Dayaka. The verse means the benefit of making donations in the form that giving food in abundance to the worthy ones, the donor took rebirth in heaven after passing through the human realm. The Dan in Buddhism has been promoted as an ethical teaching through the practice of which a donor can get rid of the three unwholesome roots, which are Lobh, Dosh, and Moh. Bhikkhu Bodhi mentioned, despite the fact that Dan didn't occur in the Four Noble Truths, Eightfold Noble Path, and any other central Buddhist philosophy, the Buddha practiced to preach Dan Katha, Shil Katha, and Sagga Katha first to the audiences who came for the teachings. It is also visible in the ordination story of the rich merchant kid Yash, his parents, the Panchavagya Bhikshu, and many were. In commentaries, the Dan Katha, Shil Katha, and Sagga Katha combinedly called Anupubbi Katha. The case of donation or dan is even more interesting in Mahayana, as in Mahayana, the generosity or the dan paramita is the first essential for the attainment of Buddhahood. The Mahayan phase also coincided with the development of Stup and Chatta cult, along with the image worship, intrigued the elements of bhakti or sadhana, occupied a dominant place, sidelined the traditional Dhamma ways. The religious as well as the lay communities both patronized the stupas when the upasak rituals intermingled with the canonical literature, and canonical idea of stupa as a memorial was transformed into a symbol of Buddha's presence. For instance, the eminent sinologist Joseph Kishnek extracted the few passages from Lotus Sutra and identified the items of donations, which are donations, items of donations to the stupa, or even for the ornamentation of a stupa, which are gold, silver, crystal, clam seeds, agate. Now, devotees are even encouraged to make Buddha images out of nickel, copper, bronze, and precious gems. Now, coming to the second variable, which is monastic economy. So, groggery scope, particularly in Indian context, in Chinese context, Chakas Gurnet is the one. So, in Indian context, Grogri Sopan is an authority over the Indian monastic economy, and he analyzed the monastic economy in the concept of Akshanavi. Akshanavi means permanent endowment. Now, the context of donation and merit, unlike the elements of Nisedan, which is the earliest mode of Dan, the gold, silver, cash, and land in the later phase, particularly from the Gupta phase, played important part in the asset multiplication, as we have plethora of land grants made to the monasteries, a constant supply channel in the case of Mahavihara, etc. Also, references from the section of Mool Sarvasti Vad Vinay translated in Gogri.
Please brief.
So, passages from the Mool Sarvasti Vad Vinay tells us about the monastic practices of lending loans and fundraising for the Buddha, Dharma, and the Sangha. Now, let's come to the festivals. So, sir, before going to the festivals, let me tell you few important definitions of festivals, that yes, how can we identify this event is a festival or not. So Durkheim saw feasts and festivals as an ever-sense of which cements the solidarity of a group or a people, a representation of the invisible relationship between man and the laws of nature, a veritable institutions whereby the bonds between the members of society are maintained, regenerated, and reproduced. My friend Aman, in his presentation, mentioned the origin of Indian festivals like the celebration of animism, or the agriculture, the festivals associated with agriculture, or the first crop, etc. So without wasting so much time and going in details about those festivals, I'll go directly on the Buddhist festivals and read certain passages from Mool Sarvasti Vad Vinay, which particularly highlights the economic aspect of the Buddhist festivals. So there is a particular passage from the Chivar Vastu section of Mool Sarvasti Vad Vinay, which I have summarized. Sir, with your permission, I'm reading it, sir. The rich merchant devotee Anath Pindak sought for the permission to celebrate festivals on the Stup erection, which is even supported by the Koshal king Prasenjit. The king announced the celebration among the city dwellers and outsiders, declared none of the merchandise will be taxed, neither with tolls and transportation. He even declared whenever there will be a celebration of the stupa of Venerable Sariputra, merchandise will be tax exempted every time. The merchants who made a great deal of profit through about merit making and performed the act of gift giving and donation with tortoise shell, precious stones, and pearls on. The Buddha here also promulgated a rule concerning. Okay, sir. Okay, sir. So there are many aspects of Buddhist festivals in which primarily collective donations were taking place. The lay devotees, the followers, so the lay devotees or the followers making donation on the large scale. The items of the donations, largely, as we have seen in this passage also, and I've discussed previously also, are worth of monetary values. So those monetary values those items worth monetary values further paved the way for higher economic practices, which is evidenced particularly in Chinese Buddhism. So, sir, thank you, sir. This is what I
Okay, Rohit. Now Sanju Dolma. Sanju, please introduce yourself and start presentation. Sanju.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. First of all, my immense gratitude to the organizer and Professor Anasa for giving me this opportunity to present the paper. Myself, Sanju Dolmalama, pursuing PhD from the Department of Buddhist Studies. Hence, this paper is a working paper, but the topic for today is on Dakini power and the legacy of Yesi Chogel on the Ningmapa tradition. So before I move to the legacy of Yesi Chogel, I would like to put a glimpse on what is Dakini and what are its form. So I would like to start with the explanation of the term Dakini. The term Dakini is a Sanskrit word. In Tibetan, it means Khandroma, which is known as a sky dweller or sky dancer, considered to be a very sacred of the feminine principle of Tibetan Buddhism. It symbolizes who moves freely in the vast expanse of space, unbound by ordinary limitations. So, Dakini, often seen as wisdom beings, are manifested or transcendent wisdom, pragya, and are commonly associated with female deities like Vajra Yogini. So, they serve as a guide or protectors, assisting advanced practitioner on the tantric path by helping them cut through illusion, maya. So, as embodiment of Shakti, they represent dynamic, transformative energy, often depicted in fierce or very playful forms. So, Dakini exists at very different levels, ranging from fully enlightened to wisdom Dakini, like Vajra Yogini, to the activity Dakinis, who are semi enlightened beings who aid as a spiritual transformation and acting as intermediaries between the deities and the practitioners. So, Dakinis can manifest in three main forms: external, internal, and secret. Externally, they appear as female deities or human figure. Internally, the awakened being, and secretly, they symbolize the ultimate realization of emptiness and wisdom. So, Dakinis are considered embodiments of wisdom and spiritual power. Among them, Yesi Chogil stands as one of the most revered figure, embodying the highest qualities of wisdom, Dakini, and she represents the indestructibility of energy, and three heads symbolizing past, present, and future, serving as a key figure in Tibetan Buddhism. So now I'd like to discuss on the legacy of Yesi Chogel and a transformative essence and power in Tibetan Buddhism. So moving to Yesi Chogel, she was born in Drak, Drong Monche to father Namke Yesi and mother Nuagum in Tibet. Being of the Kharchen clan, she was considered as a princess of Kharchen, Tibet. She was subjected to violence and forced marriage before escaping to become a disciple of Guru Padma Sambhava, who is considered as a founder of Tibetan Buddhism. So Yesi Chogel is often described as supreme Dakini. Unlike the general perceptions of Dakini as wrathful or elusive being, Yesi Chogel exemplifies the compassionate and nurturing aspect of Dakini energy. So under his guidance, he undertook rigorous training, intense meditation retreats, and visualization practices. She protected the Dharma, hidden teachings, and decoded the secret Dakini code. She attained complete enlightenment, demonstrating extraordinary spiritual attainment such as the ability to subdue negative forces, heal disease, and transmit exotic teachings to her followers. So, according to historical account, during her empowerment ceremony, when flower fell on the Furba Mandala, she had the vision of the Vajra Kilaya deities, the eighth Heruka deities, which we say. So, Vajra Kilaya is a wrathful manifestation of Vajra Sattva, the deity of purification and wisdom. And Furba Mandala is a visualized or physically constructed sacred space where Vajra Kilaya deities, they come and they invoke. So she subdued ancestral spirit and demons and had the ability to bring death to life. So this can be considered as one of her miraculous power in Tibetan Buddhism. At sacred places like Zoto Tidru, which is present, she received and practiced countless profound teachings from Guru Rinpoche, including the Dzogchen Khandro Nintik, which means a set of advanced spiritual teachings in the Nyingmapa tradition. When she was young, a demonic minister called Shata, who had created obstacle to the Dharma, was reborn in hell. So to rescue him, she went to the hell realms and constructed the Zito Narak Dontruk Mandala, which is a powerful spiritual practice to rescue beings from the hell. And she liberated all the hell beings, including Shata, emptying the hell realm once. So there are many places related to Yesi Chogel's life. First, we have the Dak Yerpa, which is still in Tibet, which is a meditation cave and is engaged in a long-term retreat and attain deep realization. There's one more place called the Chimpu Lake in Chimpu Cave, in Tibet. Next, we have the Parotaksum. Then we have the Yamalung in Tibet. In Yamalung, Tibet, it is a location where she is said to have performed miraculous feast and taught dharma to disciple. Through her spiritual practice, Yesi Chogyal attained complete realization, becoming an enlightened master and the foremost disciple of the lotus-born Guru. So throughout history, various emanations of Vajra Varahi had played crucial role in ensuring the continuity of the lotus-born master wisdom. Among them is the Tashi Khidri, a Bhutanese prince from Bumthang, emerged as an essential figure. When Yesi Chogyal engaged in historic yogic practices, she suffered from malnutrition. So Tashi Khidri bought her a famed honey and she ordered and she gave to Yesi Chogyal. So in return, Yesi Chogyal guided her into the sacred consort practice, preparing her to serve Guru Padmasambhava. So the process of revealing this hidden traces often involved special codes known as the Dakini script, which could only be understood by enlightened master. The Dakini path.
Conclusion, please.
Okay, sir. So, Yesi Chogyal, one of the most significant teachings of Yesi Chogyal, she was mastered in Dzogchen practice, which is great perfection, the highest and most direct path in the Nyingmapa school of Tibetan Buddhism. So, before I conclude this paper, I would like to conclude by saying that Yesi Chogyal is as the living Vajra Yogini, which is still prevalent. So Yesi Chogyal life perfectly embodied the wisdom, compassion, and power of the Vajra Yogini. Her master of the Vajrayana teachings, ability to overcome karmic obstacles, fearless engagement with wrathful practices, role in preserving hidden teachings, and ultimate attainment of the rainbow body all affirm her identity as an emanation of Vajra Yogini. For Vajrayana practitioners, she is not merely a historical figure, but a living presence and a direct gateway to the enlightenment wisdom of Dakini. Thank you so much, sir.
Oh, now I am audible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So all presenters have presented their paper in very good manner. And the first presenter was Yen Chen Shi, our member. And he talked about Fashiyan, Buddha Bhadra, Avatansak Sutra, that is Pure Land Buddhism, Bodhisattva Manjusri, and almost all aspects of Buddhist philosophy in brief. So, Yenchen Si, he has covered, and I personally believe that his work, he will finish his work and will submit to the organizers, and organizers will publish his paper, and it will be a very good paper to know Chinese Buddhism to Indian students. Now, the second presenter was Aman Tamang. He talked about New Year festival in Himalayan region, particularly Losar. Losar is an agricultural festival, and Losar is not only it is celebrated in India, but Himalayan region, but its form is changed in plain area in mainland India, and that is called Holi also. Holi is also agricultural festival, and beyond India, even in Cambodia, Thailand, Laos, everywhere Losar is celebrated. Because of space and time, spatio-temporal gap, there is slightly change in the mode of celebrating festival Losar. So Aman's paper was also very good, and he connected Losar with Kal Chakra tradition, and of course it has astronomical implication also. We calculate astronomical situation, celestial bodies, and then celebrate the festival Losar. Now Sandesh Sharma, he talked about economic aspect of Mahakumbh, and his paper was data based. His paper was not emotional at all. All things were data based, and because of on the basis of the data, he presented his paper. Now Angela Himani, she talked about the women's security, and this was very unique thing in the Kumbh 2025, that there was no atrocity, nothing, no crime against women was recorded in the whole entire Kumbh area. Of course, some stampede was there. A stampede is different thing, and atrocity or crime against women is different thing. So a new psychology emerged because the country like India, here around more than 60 crore people. Some data, some people says that 68 or 70 crore people gathered at one place, and there was nothing like crime there. So it's really a very unique thing. Now Rohit's paper, Buddhist monastic economy. Buddhist monastic economy, Buddhist economy is very popular in these days. The method of economy, the management of economy, and management of all entrepreneurs, enterprises, and monastic economy is different thing. So he is working, and he has done work on Buddhist monastic economy, how a small practices of dan became economic affairs in the Sangha. So it's really a very interesting paper. Now Sanju Dolma, she talked about the power of Dakini, and this is also a new thing for students here, and all papers will come in the form, a written form, hard copy, and it will be published, and it will be very beneficial for all students of this college and of University of Delhi, so that they can know about the Chinese Buddhism, about Pure Land Buddhism, about Buddhist monastic economy, about Dakini, about the Buddhist Himalayan festivals, and Sandesh Sharma's data and data-based papers related with the economy of Kumbh. So Kumbh economy is also a very important thing, and new idea and new dimension of studies have been added to the arena of academia. So now thank you, and best of luck for
Thank
your
you, sir, for the feedback.
future endeavors, and very good presentation.
Thank you,
Thank you.
sir.
Thank
Thank
you,
you
sir.
so much, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.